Hey YouTube, HoriTCG here and welcome back to our channel, where we bring you the best budget deck profiles for Shadowverse Evolved and more. Today we have an exciting deck to showcase, the Sword Aggro banner. This deck is all about delivering a fast-paced rush strategy that will overwhelm your opponent's defenses. In this deck, we focus on using cheap cost cards to rush our opponents. We flood the board with tokens and strategically search for our units, creating a powerful board advantage. Then finishing the game in style by unleashing our strong units with the incredible storm ability. Now here's the best part. This deck is designed with budget-conscious players in mind. We understand that not everyone has a pile of legendaries laying around, so we've carefully created this deck using only bronze to gold cards from BP01 and the structured. And the best part? It only costs less than $35 to build. While this deck falls into the category of semi-competitive, don't underestimate its potential. With some fine-tuning and strategic play, this Royal Aggro banner deck has the ability to be upgraded to potentially a tier 1 deck. It's a fantastic starting point for those looking to climb the ranks and compete at a higher level. So, moving in with the deck profile. For starters, we run 2 mid leaders. With its ability to search for followers that can evolve like Quick Blader, Floral Fencer, and Fervid Soldier, Mid Leader is essential in setting up our win cons. We only run 2 copies because we essentially need to use its effect once. Now, it's important to note that while Mid Leader's stats may be on the weaker side, making her prone to control like Angelic Snipe and Angelic Barrage, the search engine is really hard to pass, so I run it at 2 copies. Next up, we run 3 Ninja Trainee. With its low cost of just 1 play point, Ninja Trainee gives us a cheap body to work with. A solid 2/2 for 1 cost is honestly really underrated and gives us a lot of value. Ninja Trainee brings some serious early tempo. It also allows us to create a strong presence on the board from the get-go, putting the pressure on our opponents right from the start. This is all about seizing control from the early game. Next we run 3 Quick Bladers. What makes Quick Blader so amazing is its ability to attack on the very first turn. It allows us to immediately apply pressure to our opponent. This card sets the tempo and gets us off to a very strong start, potentially dominating the early game. It also has mid-game potential. Its low cost and the ability to attack swiftly makes it a versatile card that can continue to chip damage away from our opponent's defenses as the game progresses. Its stats, however, are on the weak side with a 1/1 body, making it vulnerable to removal and trades. Additionally, its evo cost can be quite expensive as well, which means we need to carefully consider when and how we want to evolve it for maximum impact. Next, we will be running a Tech 1 copy of Fervid Soldier. Fervid Soldier is a card that we specifically bring in when facing matchups without control. With just 1 copy, we rely on our deck's ability to search for her, ensuring that we have her in hand when the situation calls for her. This allows us to adapt our strategy depending on the opponents we're facing. Fervid Soldier can snowball the game if our opponent lacks control cards or removal options. Her ability to gain 1 attack for every placed followers makes her a formidable threat on the board. With each additional follower we play, she grows stronger and stronger, turning the tides of battles in our favor. Next up, we run 2 copies of Lathan Vanguard Captain. One of the strongest features of Latham is his impressive stats. A 3/3 for a cost of 2, he brings some serious power to the board. This makes him a great option for tanking chip damage and holding his ground up against opponent's followers in the early game. In the late game, however, Latham can become relatively useless compared to other followers that may have more impactful effects or synergies with our strategy. Depending on your playstyle and the specific matchups you encounter, you might consider cutting Latham for other followers that suit you better. Next we run 3 copies of Luminous Knight. One of the standout features of Luminous Knight is its ability to buff our board as soon as it is placed. When she is placed, one of our followers received an extra 1 power boost. Luminous Knight boasts a solid 3 attack for just a 2 cost card. This makes it an excellent option for dealing damage and putting pressure on our opponents. With its cheap cost, it is a perfect fit for our aggressive strategy. Next we run 2 Oathless Knight. This guy summons a knight for 2 costs. It's like 2 for 1 deal, giving us extra body to work with. Also, his Assail ability allows him to destroy reserve followers upon evolving. This can be quite crucial for pesky reserve followers. Next we run 3 Veteran Lancer. With its cheap play cost, this card offers high stats, providing us a 2-3 ward for 2 costs, which are solid numbers in the early game. With her ward ability, she can hold the lines against our opponent's early aggression, giving us time we need to set up our own offensive plays. Next we run 3 Floral Fencer. Fencer is not just any card, it's one of the win conditions of our deck, and for a good reason. When Fencer evolves, it summons not just 1 but 2 additional bodies on board. We get a sturdy 2/2 Steelclad token and a 1/1 knight, giving us significant board advantage for just 4 cost. Fencer's stats are decent, not exceptional, but that's not the main focus of this card. Its true strength lies in the value it provides by summoning additional bodies to the board, overwhelming our opponents with numbers. Next we run 3 Gemstaff Commanders. One of the standout features of Gemstaff Commander is its ability to search for any Swordcraft followers. This is an incredibly useful effect, allowing us to find specific followers we need to execute the right play at the right time. It's like having a personal assistant who fetches the right tools for the job. However, it's important to note that Gemstaff Commander does come up with some drawbacks. Its defense is relatively weak for a 3-cost follower, making it vulnerable for opposing attacks and controls. Next we run 3 Novice Troopers. This follower can attack the moment it is placed on the board, no waiting around, no holding back. It's pure aggression from the get-go. It's also a solid 3/3 follower. For its cost, she's quite efficient. Next we run 2 copies of Shadowed Assassin. Shadowed Assassin is all about eliminating threats on the board like Lucifer and others. When it evolves, it has the power to destroy any engaged follower, effectively removing it from the game. For its cost, she has relatively okay stats for 4/4 and 5/5 on Evo. It's a formidable force on the board, capable of dealing significant damage aside from her control, making her an effective card to trade with. Next we run 1 copy of Erd. Erd's primary purpose is to remove evolved cards. She is also searchable by our mid leader's ability, so she gets a 1 copy on our deck. Next we run 2 copies of White General. General's ability to give our other followers +2 on attack is a game changer. It buffs our board and turning our cheap followers into strong ones. This synergy ensures that our offensive plays hit harder and catch our opponents off guard. Next we run 2 copies of Royal Banner. What makes Royal Banner so fantastic is that not only it enhances our offensive capabilities, but also improves our board's resilience as this card gives the entire field +1/1. The additional stats makes our followers harder to destroy, giving them a better chance of surviving battles and raids. However, it's important to note that playing Royal Banner might cause some temporary loss of tempo. Since it plays 4 to play, it can slow down developing our board or executing other plays in the short run. Next we have Tsubaki. Tsubaki is the ultimate finisher of this deck. With her powerful ability to destroy any followers and her storm ability, she can attack the moment she hits the board. One of the standout features of Tsubaki is her substantial attack power. With her BP attack, she can take down even the toughest of opponents. This makes her an imposing force on the battlefield, capable of turning tides of their game. However, it is important to note that Tsubaki comes with a relatively high cost. This means that we need to carefully manage our resources and choose the right moment to play her. Finally, we run 2 copies of Front Guard General. Front Guard acts as a sturdy shield against our opponent's attacks, with his massive 6/8 stats and his ward ability. This guy is our cheap alternative for Otohime, as he is essentially a 3 ward. When Front Guard is destroyed, he summons 2 wards on the field, delaying the game further. However, it's important to note that Front Guard General comes with a significant cost. Playing him requires a considerable investment of resources. We need to carefully consider the timing and weigh the value of summoning wards versus other plays we could make. Now for our Evo deck, we run 2 copies of Shadowed Assassin, 2 copies of Laurel Fencer, 1 copy of Maid Leader, 2 copies of Quick Blader, and 1 copy of Knight, Erd, and Fervid Soldier. And that wraps up our Royal Aggro banner deck profile. This deck offers a fast-paced rush strategy that floods the board with cheap cost cards, generating board advantage and overwhelming our opponents. With its budget-friendly nature, utilizing only bronze to gold cards from the BP01 and the structured deck, this deck is accessible to all players at an affordable price. By utilizing our followers' abilities such as searching for Evo cards or buffing our board, we create a formidable force on the battlefield. So whether if you're a new player looking for an affordable deck or a seasoned player seeking a fresh and exciting strategy, this deck is a fantastic choice. This deck combines aggression, board control, and the potential for explosive finishes. Get ready to rush, generate board advantage, and unleash storm upon your opponents. Now, how does it play?